Welcome to this SSRS Report Builder tutorial. In this video we'll cover how to create optional query parameters. We'll start with a quick reminder of how to create basic query parameters and then use those to filter the results of the report. Then we'll explain how to make those parameters optional by allowing null values. We'll explain how you can test for the null values of those parameters in the underlying query, and then towards the end of the video how to create optional number and date parameters as well. So let's get started. As a quick example of the type of thing we'd like to create in this video, here's a report with 5 optional query parameters. This table is populated with a dataset which uses the value of these parameters, but if we choose not to pass a value to any of the parameter is essentially ignored. I can optionally provide a value to as many or as few parameters as I like, and each time I update the results of the report, it will read whatever values I've provided and just ignore the rest. So it's quite a nice flexible report for your end users. They can pick exactly the results they want to see just by adding the values to the relevant parameters. If you'd like to follow along to create this report with the video, then a quick reminder that you'll need to make sure you have a copy of the SSRS Movies database, and this video shows you how to get it set up, and there's a link in that video's description you can use to download the file. If you've done that already, I've got a brand new blank report waiting for me in Report Builder, and the first thing I'll do is right-click the Data Sources folder and choose Add Data Source. I'll call this Movies. I'll use a connection embedded in the report, pointing to a Microsoft SQL server, and then click the Build button to construct the connection string. I'll type in a shortcut to the local host // and then the name of the instance of SQL Server I'm using, which is SQL 2017. I can then select from this drop-down list the database I want to use, which is called Movies. Then I can click OK a couple of times to have the data source created. Now I can right-click on the data source I've created and choose to add a data set to it. I'll call this one Films, and then I'll use the Query Designer to select a few basic columns from the film table. So I'll expand the Tables folder and find the film table, and then select Title, Release Date, and Runtime Minutes. I can then click OK a couple of times, and there's my dataset created. Next, I can create a table to display the results of that dataset. I'll remove my page footer first, and then get rid of this placeholder title text box, and then insert a new table in its place, into which I'll insert the title, the release date, and the runtime minutes fields. Just to avoid the font rendering bug when sometimes the text in the table doesn't appear properly, I'm going to select all the cells in the table and then switch away from the default font and then back to it. And then just some very basic rearrangement of the table column widths, position it up in the top left hand corner, and then I'll also apply some basic formatting to make sure that the release date is formatted neatly as a date, and then maybe change the background colour of the header row, and then preview the report just to have a quick check that everything looks sensible so far. Next, I'd like to create a query parameter that allows the user to filter the table of films based on their title. So back in the design view, I'm going to right-click on the films dataset and choose Dataset Properties. I'm going to manually add a where clause to the query, so in the query box I'll type in the word where, and then I want to reference the film title field. So the simplest, safest way to do this is copy and paste the film title field rather than typing it in and risking mistyping it. And then I'm going to use the like operator. I'd like the user to be able to enter wildcard characters. And then I'll make up the name of my parameter by starting with an @ symbol, and then I'll call this one, let's call it title text. I'll try to spell that correctly. There we go, @title text. So the entire query looks like so. As soon as I click OK, I'm going to generate a corresponding report parameter called title text, which will be linked to that query parameter. So if I run the report at this stage and I type in some kind of wildcard search string, making sure to use the SQL wildcard, a percentage symbol rather than an asterisk, if you might remember from the previous video. If I click View Report, then I get the set of results I've asked for. At the moment, I must pass a value into the parameter in order to get the report to run. If I try to miss out that value and click View Report, I get a warning saying, no, that's not allowed. You must fill in a value for that title text parameter. I can make that parameter optional in a couple of ways. I'm going to head back to the design view of the report, and then I can view the properties of that parameter in a couple of ways. I can either go to the parameters folder and double click the title text parameter there, or double click it in the parameters grid at the top of the screen. On the general page of the parameter properties dialog box, I've got two options for a text parameter. I can allow a blank value, an empty string, or I can allow a null value. If you've watched the previous video, you'll be aware of the difference between the two, but just to quickly demonstrate if you're not sure, I'm going to allow a blank value and then click OK and then run the report. And we'll see the text box is empty. This time when I click View Report, it allows me to pass in that empty string. The problem, of course, is that the filter doesn't then return anything. The where clause is asking to show any film whose title text is like an empty string, and there aren't any films with an empty string in their title in this database. Back in the design view, if I double click on the parameter again, I can leave allow blank value checked. I can have both blank value and null values allowed, but just to demonstrate, I'm going to uncheck blank value and then check allow null value. If I click OK and then run the report this time, you'll see the report has already run. I don't need to click on the View Report button, and I've already got the null box displayed and checked, so no value, a null value has been passed into the parameter. So again, I don't see any results because now it's asking to see any films where the title is like null, and again there aren't any matching entries. But I can uncheck that null box now, and I can enter a value, maybe a wildcard search string again, and get my set of results. So we've made the parameter optional. We can check the null box and avoid passing a value to that parameter when we view the report, and technically the report runs, but that's not much use if it doesn't return any results. We need to modify the where clause to handle two different possibilities. I want the criteria to work so that if the parameter called @titleText is null, then that will return a row of results. Otherwise, if the parameter called @titleText is not null, then it simply returns whatever film's titles match the search string I've typed in. Back in the design view, we can right click on the film's dataset and choose Dataset Properties. And then I'm going to start by opening a set of round brackets at the beginning of the where clause. That's not actually necessary, but it helps with the next stage when we add more parameters later. So I'm going to check, first of all, where the film title is like whatever I have typed into the title text parameter, or the title text parameter is null. Just to avoid mistyping my parameter name, I need to make sure I reference that parameter with exactly the same name. So I'm going to copy and paste it, and then after that say is null. Then I can close the round brackets, and I'll just zoom in so you can see that a little more clearly. So those two criteria are evaluated for every individual row in the dataset. If either of those two conditions is met, then the row will be returned. So let's have a quick look at the effect of that. If we click OK and then run the report, we should see that all the films get returned immediately because every single film determines that yes, the parameter called title text is null. If we uncheck the is null box and then type in some kind of search string, let's use the correct wildcard, a percentage symbol rather than an asterisk, sorry about that. So this one now returns only the films that match the criteria we've typed in. That's basically the trick behind this approach. Every time we add a new query parameter, we can check whether the value of a field matches the value of the parameter, or whether the parameter is null. Let's add a couple of parameters to allow the user to search based on the runtime minutes. They can type in a min and a max runtime. We can head back to the design view, and then we can go to the dataset called films, right click on it and choose Dataset Properties. I'll head to the end of my where clause and then begin a new line, starting with the AND operator, and then open a set of round brackets. This time I'm going to check if the film's runtime minutes value, so again I'm going to copy and paste this, and I'm going to start by asking if that is greater than or equal to, and then make up a new parameter name. I'll say @min runtime. I'm then just going to copy that parameter name and then check or paste in the parameter name is null. Then I can close the round brackets. While I'm here, I'm then going to copy that entire line, and then I'll paste it in on the next line, and I'll check this time. I'll just modify the name of my parameter. So I'm going to say max runtime, or max runtime is null. And then I just want to modify the operator I'm testing. So rather than greater than, I'll say less than or equal to. Just to zoom in so you can see that a little more clearly. So this will create two new parameters at min runtime and at max runtime. When I click OK, we'll see those two parameters appear up at the top. I'm just going to rearrange these by dragging them down to the next line. And then I'm going to delete these extra columns that we don't need. Okay, so you notice at the moment that these parameters don't allow null values. If I run the report, I can't view the results until I've passed the value into those parameters. It does work, of course, if I do pass values in. Let's just quickly check that. If I do pass values in and then hit View Report, I see all the films between the runtimes I've entered. But to make them optional, I can then head back to the design view, double-click min runtime and choose to allow a null value. I don't technically need to, but I think it's good practice to make sure that the data type matches the data type of the column your criteria are based on. So the runtime minutes column is an integer, a whole number, so I'm going to change the data type to an integer here as well. I can then click OK and then go to the max runtime parameter and do the exact same thing. I'll set the data type to an integer and choose to allow a null value. I can then click OK, and then when I run the report, we'll see I haven't filled a value in for any parameter, but I still see all the results returned by the dataset. The same technique works in exactly the same way for date-time parameters. Let's add a couple of extra parameters so the user can filter based on the release date. I'll head back to the design view and then right-click on my films dataset and choose Dataset Properties. Probably the easiest thing to do here is to copy and paste the previous two lines of the where clause. We have two more conditions, or I suppose four more conditions in total to add in, but I'll copy and paste these two lines rather than write them all in again from scratch. I want to change the name of the column I'm referencing, so I don't want to use the runtime minutes field, I want to use the release date field. So I'm going to copy and paste release date and replace that runtime minutes reference here, and also the second runtime minutes reference that I've pasted in as well. I will also need to make sure I update my parameter names. I don't want to try to recreate the same parameter names again. I'll call the first one start date, and then to make sure I don't accidentally mistype that, I'll copy and paste that on top of the other min runtime, and then I'll change the max runtime to end date, and then copy and paste that as well, rather than risk mistyping it. So it's very repetitive. Sorry if you're bored by this at this point, but it's a nice simple trick and very consistently applied. So those are all the criteria we need. If I click OK to generate my two new report parameters, while we're here, we might as well double click on those parameters to edit, first of all, their data types. There really is a good reason to set the date time data type so that you can see you get the calendar date picker. And if I allow a null value as well, after setting date and time, and click OK, you'll see we get the little date time calendar picker. I can do the same thing for the end date as well. I'll set the data type to date time and choose to allow a null value. And then that's it. If I run the report, I immediately see all of the results because every single parameter has null, so all of my criteria detect that. But I can now, of course, optionally provide a value to any of my criteria by unticking the null box and typing something in. And the more values I add in, the more information or the fewer results I will see. So let's do something quick and simple like so. So there you go. That's how you create optional query parameters in a Report Builder report. If you watched the previous video on optional report parameters, I think you'll agree that this is a much simpler technique to apply, and you'll almost certainly get better performance using optional query parameters than with optional report parameters. So I hope you found that one useful. Thanks for watching. See you next time.